reasonable intellect. Question number 6, the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Order. Order. The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Order.
My question is to the Associate Minister of Education. How many teachers and support staff were incorrectly paid in the latest pay cycle, and what is the total amount of outstanding pay still owed to teachers and support staff due to errors in the Novopay system?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'm advised that the Ministry of Education is aware of fewer than 100 non-payments or underpayments for the last pay cycle. In the past 5 days, they have also been informed of approximately 390 overpayments. In terms of outstanding pay, I am informed that 41 staff or support staff have received advances and 23 have indicated they are willing to wait to be paid at the next pay cycle. In regards to the total amount outstanding, I'm advised that it is not possible to extract this information from Novopay at this time, but I can assure the member that every non-payment or underpayment that has been brought to the Ministry's attention is being addressed.
The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
What specific action has he taken to assure relief teachers that the reported problems with inaccurate deductions, payslip, timesheet and leave error provisions will be fixed, given the Ministry's own website says the time frame for resolving these issues are, quote, TBC?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I fully acknowledge the frustration that some of the issues on implementation, particularly on the service centre, and particularly those issues relating to Talent 2, as opposed to Ministry of Education staff, have caused for some relief teachers and various non-full-time salaried staff. The commitments that they have, the communication from the Secretary of Education, and in fact, Mr Speaker, the commitment that 350,000 pay transactions have been made accurately and correctly over the last 4 pay cycles, but I fully acknowledge there are some outstanding issues relating to the first 2 pay cycles.
The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Supplementary. What response does he have for a teacher returning from maternity leave at Palmaria School who received full pay for the first and second pay periods, only to find that the third and fourth pay period botched up by Novopay, leaving her $2,000 short, unable to pay the mortgage and reliant on the school having to write a cheque from the ops grant rather than the government's pay system sorting the matter out in a timely way?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I acknowledge the angst that caused that particular staff member, but I also acknowledge, Mr Speaker, that we were acutely aware and put in place machinery or process so individuals, if in fact for some reason their pay wasn't accurate or they missed completely, they were able to be paid from the ops grant from the school, so the individual themselves didn't suffer penalty. If that individual does suffer penalty, for example for the mortgage payment, I suggest they get in touch with the payroll officer and the Ministry, and the Ministry will do what it can to investigate to make good.
The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Supplementary. Did the Ministry of Education's contract with Talent 2 to provide the Novopay system include penalties for poor performance? And if so, does he intend to use such provisions in response to the incorrect payment of hundreds of teachers and support staff?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. When the Labor government signed the contract with Talent 2 in 07 or 08, I'm sure they put clauses such as that in there. But, Mr Speaker, yes, in any such contract, of course there are KPIs, and I will repeat for the House that I am very frustrated and disappointed in Talent's 2 service centre performance, which has led to much angst and difficulty, and Ministry of Education staff have had to bear the brunt of that, and they are doing a great job. But Talent 2, Mr Speaker, does need to improve its service centre actions immediately.
The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Order, Mr Speaker. The question was direct and it was simple. It asked if the Minister was going to put into act the provisions of the contract with regards to the Talent 2 system. and whether he was going to enact penalties for poor performance. He didn't attempt to answer that at all. It was a very straight and simple...
The Minister said undoubtedly the provisions are in there. He didn't indicate in his answer whether he would pursue those provisions.
Excuse me, Mr Speaker. The Secretary of Education has had discussions with and commitments from the head executives and chair of Talent 2 to discuss the enforcement of exactly those matters.
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, I'm doing this in order to give the government some notice, but seeking leave of the House for members' notice of motion number 1 to be set down in lieu of the general debate for debate and vote in light of your comments to the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Leave is sought for that course of action. Is there any objection? There is objection. Question number 7, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.